Good morning, Coffee Projectors. Thanks for joining us for our fourth episode. It's our final one with James. So today we're going to do a crash course on project management lingo. Before we begin, what's the difference between projects and business as usual work, James?
Difference between projects and business as usual, or what I like to call ongoing, is a project is finite. A project has a start, it has a finish, and it should have some value in the middle. Whereas ongoing, as the name says, or business as usual, is something that's done in an ongoing approach.
Let's get stuck into some project management frameworks. So
Okay.
I've got these three, and I just want you to kind of distill them into their core principles for our audience and also for me today. So that's Prince 2, Agile, and Waterfall. We'll start with Prince 2 first. What is it, and what are some of its key components?
Sure. So Prince 2 started in the UK back in the 70s. It stands for Projects in a Controlled Environment. And what it is a framework. And so it's process-based. It basically helps project managers know what to do in what sequence. So there's something called startup, which is where that's pre-project and are working out, well, what is this project? What's the intent of it? How do I do it? What team members do I need to plan it out properly? Then there's something called initiation, and that's when the project's already started. So that's planning in detail, working out, how long, how much, who's involved, and getting the commitment from the steering committee, and that's called the project board, to actually making sure this project is going to deliver value for money. Then there's the work, which is done as part of controlling a stage and managing product delivery. And then finally, there's closing a project. So the closing project is part of the final, what's called stage. And that makes sure that what was expected to be delivered as defined in initiating the project is delivered.
So on to the second. Now it's Agile. Could you explain what it is in sort of max 3 sentences and at its core, what it kind of aims to do?
Sure. So Agile is an approach to iteratively deliver products.
Right.
So what I mean by that is rather than designing, developing, building, testing, and then implementing over a long period of time, what the Agile framework or approach recommends is you do all of that rapidly. So an example I'll give you to explain it better is if you want to get from A to B and you think the best thing is a car, what the Agile approach recommends is, well, you start off with walking, and then you might use roller boots or roller skates, then you might go to a scooter, then to a push bike, then to a motorbike, then to a go-kart, then finally to a car. So actually, whilst you're going from A to B, you're learning about that journey, and then you can feed that back into the next design. That type of stuff comes in. So the whole 2 key points is you get something useful early, so it de-risks the project, and also you can use it as well. So you're getting value earlier on in the life cycle.
Great. So on to the third. So as you explained before, the waterfall sort of timeline is really linear. It's one thing at a time. So essentially you're only completing one task at a time. Compared to Agile, what do you think is the better way to be doing a project?
Yeah, and it's an and rather than or, I would say. So, and if I bring it up to a program which contains multiple projects, I would definitely recommend that some of the projects are run iteratively and some are done in the more waterfall-based approach. And it depends on level of certainty for goods. So if you know what you're trying to achieve, then doing it in a traditional approach, waterfall-based approach, probably could be suitable. If you're uncertain about what you're doing, then doing that iteratively means you can iteratively evolve to deliver the solution that you want. One of the other things to consider is how your organization is structured as well. So one of the premises of Agile is the team sticks together. So you have a multi-skilled team, and they have what's called a backlog or a burn down chart to work on. And they're basically doing work associated with what's most important. And they create something which is shippable within a couple of weeks. So typically it's 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so you can train people to be accredited or certified in Prince 2, MSP, and P30. Is that right?
Yep, so Prince 2 Agile actually. So people can come to PM Logic, and I personally can train people in Prince 2 Agile, MSP, which is managing successful programs, as well as P30. So O is office, so the P3 is portfolio, program, project.
That's great. So if any of the coffee projectors watching or just people in general want to learn more, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I suppose the easiest way is to go through either via email, so inquiries@pmlogic.com.au, or we've got our 1-800 number as well. Otherwise, there are our mobile numbers, obviously my LinkedIn profile, or yourself, Hannah, any of the team. We can then work out who's best to talk to them and help them ultimately.
Great. Okay, Thank you so much, James.
Pleasure, Hannah. Great to chat.